So what are samskaras? They are patterns or grooves of the mind. Typically, another term is kleshas, twists of the mind. Samskaras are the patterns or grooves of the mind that are developed from our life's experience. Samskaras are very much in alignment with what we understand about neuroscience, that the nervous system formulates over our experiential timeline. So when something happens in our life, our brain is looking for similar circumstances and then files them away and says, like, when this happens, this is going to happen. And then another incident, when this happens, this is going to happen, will line up in our life, and then we put the two together so that whenever this thing happens, the result is always going to be this way in our head. Now, the brain does this for efficiency purposes. Where it becomes a problem is the assumption that we know based on this experience. Here's where it gets tricky. Someone says something in a certain tone of voice, and we automatically think that they are going to be just like our father, or just like our mother, or just like the past relationship. And we assume that this human being that is in front of us is going to be the same. And we have a belief system about them before we even know them, right? Because they acted in a similar way. And so our patterning says, everything I know is that this person is going to be the same as that other person. Then there's patterns like that throughout everything, our entire life. We assume that because something happened here and there, that I know how life works, or I know what's going to happen next. We have this whole orchestra of belief systems in our head that some are super important and others, super important and efficient, and others hold us back from the divine knowledge that is within us. Because what's happening is we're operating on the pretense of belief systems that we understand this is the way life is, and yet it's not. So samskaras are the grooves or the pattern of the mind that our thought process and our belief systems inevitably will flow more easily, let's say. It doesn't mean they're right, but whatever our pattern is, our thought process and emotional patterns all flow in that direction because it's a pattern and it's efficient and it's easiest. But what happens when that's not correct? Typically, the ego will defend our samskaras. It'll start to say, no, you are correct. You are this way, or things are this way. I know. The ego's job is to be the I maker and to be the knower. I know. And yet it is not the intellect. The intellect is the part of us that can actually attain knowledge, where the ego is the I maker, and yet it feels that it needs to know because that's what makes it feel safe. So these are parts of our mind that we have to work with and understand. Bring the right knee up towards your chest. And use your right hand to help you grab left hand to outer edge of the foot. Lift the heart up. Think right side of your rib cage bows slightly to rotate, and then extend, if possible, the right leg. Then once you've rotated, lift up through the skull again, get long again, and then the right hand goes back. Maybe changing your gaze to either the side wall or, for a greater challenge, somewhere back behind you. Bring the left knee up. Use your left hand to support you so you can grab with the right foot. You could always grab a strap if the foot is not accessible. Pull the right shoulder up, rotate. Now, optionally, straightening this left leg once you've rotated a little bit. Okay. Now, at this point, the left ribs, which is the back ribs, if you take a breath in, get long to start, get lifted, 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 then exhale, bow a little bit to rotate. It's this constant game between expansion and the humble bow that will employ, from an anatomical perspective. You have muscles on your back body that help you rotate and muscles of the front body that help you rotate. By thinking lifting and lengthening, you're gonna get more of the rotators of the back. By thinking that humble bow, you're gonna get more of the core muscles. Either way, they're both necessary. So good to kind of subtly go back and forth. Again, changing the gaze towards something behind you is a bit more challenging. You can stay looking forward or to the side.